Welcome everyone to a new survival game called Re.Poly. Now this game is currently available to wishlist through the Steam platform and will be available through early access on Steam later on. But right now we're in early alpha stage. As you can see in the top right hand corner of the screen, we're at 0.01. So very early in the development of this game, and keep that in mind as we look at some of the initial gameplay today. Everything you see can and will be changed in the future. In fact, just since I've gotten my hands on the game, there have been some changes, so I definitely expect there to be quite a few changes as time moves forward. So not a lot to look at here on the main menu as of yet. We'll take a quick look at the options. You can see general settings. We have language of English or German currently. Audio, we've got general, music, ambiance, and effects. Graphics, we've got everything from resolution to several graphics options as well as VSync. And then finally, our controls that we can remap if need be. So very basic options available there. As far as how to play, well, it's a survival game. So we're going to be collecting a lot of materials. We're going to be crafting. We're going to be building and farming. And then, of course, there's going to be combat. But as far as the main objective of the game, the quest line is about rebuilding these shrines that we'll find throughout the game world. At the very beginning of the game, we'll see our very first shrine that will serve as an introduction for us in the game in a tutorial section. But we will load it up with different resources such as wood, stones, planks, and ropes. And as we rebuild these, we will be able to reclaim the land for humanity and take us out of the shadows. Once we're able to rebuild all of these, we'll have access to some different areas and bosses and so on. But we have all of the main elements here for a great survival game. We'll just have to see how things develop in the future. So now we come in under the play tab and you see we have single player and multiplayer. So multiplayer is definitely planned for the future. We'll see how long into the early access period before multiplayer is available. But for right now, we're not going to worry about that because we're going to come to single player and we're going to select a new game. All right, now that the game has loaded, let's take a quick look at what is available to us on our screen. In the top middle portion of the screen, you can see our compass. So east, southeast, and so on. So that'll give us an idea of our headings. And then as we start to build and farm and so on in the game, those icons will actually show up on our compass to give us an idea of which direction we need to move in order to make it back to our home, for example. In the top left-hand corner, we've got a few different things. We've got thirst, hunger, and our health. The health is the red icon with the heart. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we start to get into any combat. Of course, early on, we'll want to avoid combat. And thankfully here in the tutorial area, we won't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and move around some. On the right-hand corner of the screen, you see movement basics. It wants us to move left, right, front, and back. So we'll go ahead and do all that. Jump with the space bar and then left alt to perform the evading technique. So we'll start by harvesting a little bit. So there's some fiber. Then, of course, you can see some stone. We'll need some tools before we can start to work on the stone. So we'll have to pick up some loose stones around, as well as some sticks and fiber from the little bushes that we see around. There we go. You also notice on the ground, in addition to these basic materials, are some other plants. So we're going to have things like pumpkins. We're going to have wheat. We're going to have, as you see right over here, tomatoes, and we can use these to create seeds and begin our own farm. All right, so one of the first things we're going to want to do is, you see on the right-hand side of the screen, we're going to want to talk to the wizard because he's got a plan for us. But right now, I am trying to gather all of this that I can. Let's see, where is the wizard? He's around here somewhere. And he's got that first shrine for us. There's some corn that we'll be able to use. We can either eat the corn now or turn that into seeds that we can use to later on start our own. Mushrooms, also very tasty to eat. You'll notice in the top left-hand corner that our our thirst and our food will be decreasing. Oh man, we're just finding good stuff all over the place. In the past, I've had to look around quite a bit to find some of these basic plants, but right now we have definitely had some changes in the game world as I'm finding these very early on. All right, so that's enough gathering. Let's see if we can't find the wizard. And I believe I see him right over here in the distance. All right, so here's our wizard, and you can see room for all of the resources we're going to need to bring to him. So let's go ahead and talk to the wizard. Now, you're not going to hear any voice acting at this point in the game, but he's going to let us know that he wants us to rebuild this shrine so that we'll have access to the rest of the game world that you can see all in behind him. All right, so anyways, can you help me out with the shrine? Absolutely, we will do just that. Interact with it or just look at it to see which resources you have to sacrifice to it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And so now if we get over to it, this is what he meant by just looking at it, just mousing over it will let us know that we need 25 wood, 25 stones, 10 planks, and 5 ropes. And so most of these we can simply gather from the game world. However, there are going to be a few things that we're going to need to craft. And to craft, we're going to press the tab key, and you see our crafting menu. Right now, we're showing everything that is available. Here are our ropes, and it lets us know that we need 3 fiber to craft a rope. And each item that we craft will take a certain amount of time to do so. So we'll have our basics such as an axe, a pickaxe, your rope, bandages to heal us after combat, and then we'll have other things such as campfire, furnaces, a small chest for storage, workbenches, and so on. But for right now, we want to make an axe and a pickaxe. So let's see what we need. We're going to need a rope and 10 stone. Looks like we've got 7 stone right now. And so let's go ahead and make as many rope as we can. 28. Wow, okay, we don't need to make quite that many. So let's just go ahead and make about 6 of those. So we'll get started crafting that. And you can see that each one of these will take, I believe it was 5 seconds. There we go. First one is done. Now it's going to count down for the second one. So stone, we need some more stone. So let's look around for loose stone laying around on the ground, and we'll pick up pretty much everything. At this point in the game, there is no limit to your inventory size. We don't have to worry about being encumbered and unable to move or run. So we'll simply pick up everything right now. And pretty much everything you find can be harvested. The mushrooms are great to eat. Of course, the fiber, we know we're going to be using that to create tools and create rope that will be used in those tools. All right, so now we have enough stone. So let's go ahead and make that stone axe. So you can see that's going to take a little while. We've got a total of 20 seconds on that one. Now we need to make the stone pickaxe, which is going to require 10 stone. Now, here's one of the downsides this early in the game is that you notice everything is in green. So it looks like we could make this right now. However, you have to keep in mind that it wasn't taken into account that we were about to use 10 stone. So now it is in red. So it's possible that you could queue up a lot of different items thinking that you had all of the items necessary, all the resources necessary to make it. And then it turns out you don't. So you got to keep that in mind early on in the game. Now, if you look down at the bottom of the screen in our toolbar, we have an axe, our very first tool. So we'll come over to this tree and we're going to get some green apples as well as some logs. So we should be able to get pretty close to the 25 logs that we need from this one tree. All right, also, let's see, it is starting to get dark. That is certainly not going to be good for us. So we need to find out how to craft a torch. How do we make a torch? All right, we've got enough to craft that. And we'll be able to pull out the torch and enable us to be able to see even when it gets completely dark. Because when it gets dark here, it gets really dark. All right, so there's our resources. We'll drop all of the wood logs in there because we don't really need those right now. There you can see our torch. Now we won't have to put the torch down in our toolbar because we'll have a different key to access that. You also notice that we've got access to our very first clothing. We've got some fiber clothing. And let's see, let's go ahead and make some of this so we can have some sort of basics in mind. We're going to need to make a lot more rope. Let's go ahead and make about 25. Not quite all of them that we could make, but pretty close. All right, so we've got our shoes. Did he get done making our shoes? Or did I not queue that up? I must not have queued that up. So let's go ahead and queue this up. So we've got our shoes. It's going to take 10 sticks and 10 fiber. Good news for us is we've got plenty of sticks for that. Let's see about the bottoms. We're going to need fiber and rope. Let's go ahead and queue that up as well because I think we're going to be okay there with the fiber. You can see we have quite a bit of fiber. All right, so we'll let these work out. Right now you can see it is totally dark, so I'm going to press the Q key and that's going to get our torch out. Now you can see it is extremely dark, so if you don't have a torch when it gets nighttime, you're out of luck because you're not going to be able to see anything. The good news is we can hold the torch in one hand and still do work with our other hand. If for some reason, as we are moving around and crafting, because you can definitely see that we can craft at the same time that we're doing other things, so that's not a problem. But as we're doing that, you can clearly see that we have the countdown timer. It's still making rope right now. If we wanted to stop that, we could simply come back into the tab key for inventory, and we could cancel out of any of these that we needed to. All right, we need some more stone. So let's move around. Let's get over here next to, a little bit closer to the water's edge. There's some wheat. Okay, there's a stone. We're going to need a bunch of stone because we need to make a pickaxe. All right, loose stone is what we're looking for. Nighttime lasts quite a bit in this game, so it's really a good opportunity for you guys to see what the nighttime looks like and just how dark it gets here on the island. So again, we are in the tutorial area, so we're not going to have to worry about anything attacking us, or at least I haven't encountered anything to attack us here in this area to this point. All right, there's look like a couple more stones over here. Okay, not seeing anything. I'm going to pick up all of these mushrooms because we need to start eating these mushrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the mushrooms down to number 6. And we're going to eat a few of these. You can see our all right, now, in order to get our drink back to a reasonable level, I'm going to come down to the water. I'm going to hold down the E key while we're inside the water with our torch, and there we go. So it automatically put our torch up for us since I mistakenly went completely inside in the water. But thankfully, it didn't do any damage to our torch. Let's see, there's another one. How many? We have 8. All right, so we need to find at least a couple more. So drinking the water will refill our thirst to a certain percentage. And if we needed additional water, we could have simply held down the key and drink some more water. So you're going to see a lot of similarities to other survival games here. That's no surprise. That's exactly what you would expect. Some of the basic mechanics of harvesting and crafting and building and so on are certainly available within the game. Looks like we've got all of our crafting done. So let's go ahead and suit up with our very first armor. So we're going to simply drag and drop these two things. So now we've got some basic shoes and clothing on. So we'll make some more clothing as time goes on, but for right now, we need to make our first pickaxe so that we can get busy with some stone. Oh, there's some more stone. All right, so we got about 6 more seconds before we're done with the pickaxe. Let's see now. We can't pick up, yeah, the flowers we have to leave alone. We can't do anything with those. All right, now we have our pickaxe done. Let's go ahead and grab that and break down. Now these are not infinite, so these resources will definitely go away, but in my experience, they do respawn, as I have seen many things respawn out in the rest of the game world once we get out there. All right, let's head over. So we need 25 stones, and you can see we've got, let's go ahead and split this, and we'll put 26 up there again. It's not a huge deal that we're putting too many in right now. That's perfectly fine. We'll go ahead and drop some of these out. All right, so planks, we need 10 of those. So this is our first opportunity to figure out how we need to make planks. So wood planks, we make those with logs. All right, we need 10 of those. So we'll go ahead and get started crafting those. Then we need 5 rope. And actually, we'll go ahead and split this a couple of times and drag some of these up. Oh, looks like I took too many logs out. That's good enough. That'll give us what we need. So we're almost done. All right, so we'll let those take care of the crafting. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more wood here, as well as some green apples. So here in our very first video, I wanted to show you guys the tutorial island, just to give you an idea of some of the basics of the gameplay, collecting a lot of materials, and of course, completing our very first shrine. All right, I believe we are done. Once again, we'll split this one. And do we have everything we need? Let's see, ropes. We've got plenty of ropes in here. Planks. Yes, we are done. We'll go ahead and click on the sacrifice, and there we go. All of our resources disappear. But here in just a moment, we are going to be building a portal. So now you can see it getting started building the portal. As soon as this is done, we will talk to our magician over here, and then that'll be it for today's video. So this guy should be pretty happy with us. We completed that in a very short time. And there it is. There's our ability to teleport to the Greenlands. There are multiple different biomes. There's a snow biome, Greenlands, all of that sort of thing. But for right now, we're going to get started in the Greenlands, which you can see back there behind us. So let's go ahead and talk to the wizard. Good work. You've completed the shrine. Thank you very much. I'm not sure why he couldn't have completed this on his own, because we didn't have to do a whole lot to make it happen. All right, so the shrine rebuilds a portal to get off of this isle. But before you go, can you do me another favor? There are 5 other shrines, 1 in each of the biomes. You can find all over the big island over there, absolutely. Please complete these shrines to free the land and give the humans hope for freedom and a new beginning. All right, not bad at all. So he's also letting us know that once we go through this portal and we get out to the other portions of the map, there will be enemies that we'll have to deal with. So let's go ahead and teleport through there, and here we are. So now you notice that there is a connection running right up through there, so we'll have to see exactly where that connection is going. This is one of the parts of the game that has changed even since I've had brief access to it. There used to be some objects in the sky that sort of hovered over those areas. We'll have to see if they're still there or if they've been removed, because they've been there, they've been removed, and maybe they're back again. We'll have to see what happens. But so far, you can see exactly where we are. We got a little bit bigger version of where we've been. I'm kind of looking around right now to see if there are any enemies in and around. So we got some goblins and some warriors that are roaming around. If we see any of the warriors, that will be a bad deal for us if we get too close and they see us, because we have absolutely no way of defeating them. The goblins, however, we can defeat them even with a basic sword. So that'll be one of the first things we'll need to do next time. But for today, we've made it off the island. We've completed the tutorial. That's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more Re.Poly.